So this video will be very different from the previous videos I make, and like instead of like the other videos where I have a whole script and I know what I'm going to talk about more or less through like a script, in this type of video it's more of me wanting to reevaluate my performance and reflect on the past 2 weeks. And so instead of a script, I just have like a couple small bullet points in order to still keep myself in focus of the topic, which I'll reveal later. So, so what has happened in these past 2 weeks? I think a lot has happened in these past 2 weeks ever since I made that one video, or I think it was like a week ago, where I made that one video on how I can truly maximize my break, which is currently what I'm experiencing today. And I told myself in the beginning that it will be very difficult that I achieve all those goals, all those, kind of, not, I wouldn't really say goal, yeah, they're kind of goals, which the goals included like having good sleep, exercising every day, meeting new people, staying more focused, doing organization work, and staying off the phone. And I won't lie, ever since that video, I feel like I have been more focused. But even then, it hasn't been perfect, Like in the past week, I've been exercising quite rigorously. I met a lot of my old friends and new friends as well. I've met a lot of people, I hang out a lot. But then there has been things that I've been struggling with. One of which is, making videos consistently and reflecting. So it's not really the making the videos consistently, it's more of reflecting myself. And I feel like I've put so much time into like things such as exercising, going out with friends, and all that I didn't have time to reevaluate or reflect or make more videos. That was what I thought, but now thinking about it again, it's not that I didn't have time, it's that I distracted myself, through using my phone, through, smoking and drinking, anything that can like really distract me from myself. I chose to do that, and I'm not sure why. So yes, even though I have done a lot of things, it hasn't been perfect, especially in the internal mental health side of me, you know. One of the things is like struggling, I want to talk about again, is struggling with focus. And I feel like my struggle of focus boils down to really my phone. Like, now that I think about it, I hate my phone. I hate being connected. This is my time for break, and yet I find myself being obsessed with like connectedness, through social media or like TikTok, Clash Royale. Like, I find myself staring at my phone, convinced that I need to be on, when really I don't need to be on my phone, and that's just really a choice. So that obsession with my phone, I feel like makes me struggle to stay focused on my goals, number one, because it takes a lot of time. I think my phone screen time is like really, really bad. I don't even want to mention it. So that's one of the things I've been struggling with. really just focus. Um, I think the second thing is perhaps a good sleep schedule. Like, I do get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, even though the times aren't really that perfect. I still try to consistently get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And yes, I do get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but like I said a few seconds before, um, I was unable to reach, you know, the expected time to wake up. And one of the proof was what happened today. So what happened today is my plan was to wake up, was to sleep at 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 or like 10, and wake up at 6:30 so I can go for a run. But I was unable to. And it isn't the reason you think. It's not because I was playing video games, chatting with my friends, or being on my phone, because my phone was off. But it was just really me sitting on my bed, worrying, you know. What I realized was that what caused my sleepless nights perhaps was my anxiety, you know. And I'm not able to sleep. And I kind of like push back my sleep schedule, distract myself through booze, friends, um, watching films, or really anything that keeps my mind stimulated in order to keep my head away from anxiety. Because that's because when I was on my bed today, I couldn't stop thinking. I felt the need to stimulate my mind. So I went for a run. I went for a 5K run in the middle of midnight. I realized it was like 11:30 when I realized I couldn't sleep and that I needed to go for a run. So I went for a 5K run. And what was interesting, I know this is going off topic, but what was interesting was I met a couple people, like a couple, so they were like my neighbors, a couple old family friends in the middle of my runs. And like I talked with them. Like there was also this guy that was also like a mutual friend of that was also a friend of theirs that I didn't know, that I introduced myself to. Um, and that was quite a interesting night in the middle of my run. So I did talk quite a bit with them, but I feel like I should have talked more. So I'm definitely going to talk to them if I somehow do meet them again. And I thought that was quite crazy, a crazy coincidence. But anyways, yeah, basically I couldn't sleep today. I found it hard to sleep today. That's why I went for a run. That's why I went for a run. Next, I want to talk about what I realized again for the past week is that sometimes I don't think before I speak. I know I have made an effort, and I have made a video in the past about thinking before I speak, thinking before I act, and being more careful, but I find myself struggling with that still. It's something that I need to be more careful of, because a lot of people can take it the wrong way if you don't think before you speak. And I forget that there is power in staying silent, you know. And I know it takes a lot of self-control, but I feel like it's important that I'm able to practice holding my impulses, because that's what I feel what a good man, what a good future father would be like. An individual who's able to control his emotions and act act and think carefully before they speak to someone. Therefore, in that way, their words will have more meaning and more, you know, yes, more meaning and more power in a way. But it's not power that I'm looking for. It's more of self-respect, because I feel like those who speak a lot, they overcompensate. They're trying to compensate for perhaps a lack of self-esteem. And I have perhaps a theory that my anxiety is kind of tied to the struggles of self-esteem. So now I want to talk about moving forward. And in moving forward, I haven't really wrote anything in my notes, but what I realized that I need to do is to dig deep into the root of the problem, which is, well, my anxiety. And now thinking about my anxiety, what causes it, I believe is my belief that everything has to go according to plan, you know, that everything has to be perfect, that I have to be perfect, because I'm afraid of being seen as imperfect. I'm afraid of making mistakes. I'm afraid of being punished. And I think this obsession causes this anxiety, causes me to doubt myself and who I am. That's why you could say I struggle with sleeping, because I can't stop thinking about how I should act the next day. And yes, this anxiety has pushed me to work hard, but it kind of undermines my self-confidence. It kind of brings myself down, because I realize I don't have that much belief in myself, even though I should, because I know deep down that I am a beautiful person with an amazing goal. And I can't let anyone take that away from me, not even myself. I think that in order for me to realize this, I have to take time. Yes, taking time is important. But another part of it is, I don't know if this makes sense, but kind of working hard towards discipline. Discipline for what, you say? I know this is gonna sound weird, but kind of discipline to be confident, believing in my abilities, you know? And I understand that it might go off as something that's weird, but I truly believe that I kind of have a switch in my brain that I can turn on in order to give myself a sense of belief that I am able to achieve this goal, that I'm able to perform it to the best of my abilities, and not just achieve this goal, but the way in which I achieve this goal is great. And yes, it all boils down to self-belief, which is the reason why I made this account, this journey. I know something that I have to accept is that I am not perfect. But, well, now that I think of it, it's okay to think of yourself as someone that's not perfect. But what you have to realize is that you are a beautiful person, and that you are strong, and that you can set out everything that you hope to achieve as long as you put your mind, your body, your heart, and your heart into it. Thank you.